Hey, welcome back, everybody, to our new Super Tuesday series featuring 10 great experts from the world of educational athletics. We'll be right back with today's guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. You've heard me say many times, these are great companies. I use them as an AD. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support of the podcast. Hometown is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. It's digital ticketing that offers more support, more security, and more customization. Go to hometownticketing.com. Their team is going to help you make the best solution for online ticketing. Hometownticketing.com. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. It's a great way to show off your school record boards, your school's Hall of Fame, or simply celebrate your community and showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is the exclusive high school and state association management platform for us. It's also your one stop for things like scheduling, eligibility and clearance paperwork for your student athletes, helping parents, tracking coaches, and so much more. As an AD, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just great. Go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com to get signed up. We want to thank our good friends at Snap Raise. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD. It's hands down the best online fundraiser platform out there. You're never going to spend days and weeks on a fundraiser and not get a great return with SnapRaise. Go to snapraise.com, check out their entire platform, Snap Store, FanX, Snap Sponsor. You'll find it all at snapraise.com. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Huddle. Go to huddle.com, change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the platform because it helped them coach our kids up to their highest level. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor scoring tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule a live web demo, and see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Their products not only generate income for your department, they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Athletic Surveys is going to connect you not just with the complainers and gripers, but with the 98% that support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or maybe your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them create that survey that'll let you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Gipper, the official social media graphics solution for the podcast. Go to Gipper.com. Their team is going to show you how to create world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel to celebrate your athletes and promote your teams. Gipper's used and trusted by over 3,000 athletic programs across the country. It's professional graphic design made simple. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team help you turn into a social media pro. That's Gipper.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful 2024. This is another segment in our Super Tuesday series, our collection of 10 experts from the world of educational athletics. And our guest today is Albert Weeden Jr. Listeners of the podcast probably remember his episode. It was a great one. Albert wears many hats like most ADs, but unlike most ADs, he's also the principal at his school, and he's the principal and athletic director at Loachapoka High School and that's in the great state of Alabama. So, Albert, first time
Oh,
we've
yeah.
talked. Happy New Year. Welcome to Super Tuesday. What do you have for our listeners this week?
All right. Thank you, Jake, and happy holidays to you too. Yeah, like you said, I'm Albert Weeden here in Auburn, Alabama, at Loachapoka High School. Just a couple of nuggets. First, I want to talk about leadership. What does that mean for your coaches? And I think as an athletic director, you need to make sure your coaches have the same alignment that you have. And I'm going to give you a little acronym. It's called PRC. All right. That's my leadership model. And I advise you to get your own leadership model so you can relay that down to your coaches and they have something to go by, some type of idea of what you believe in. And the first letter of the PRC is being professional. I think as a coach and as a teacher, you have to be professional at all times. We know the world we're living in with technology, everybody's recording you. They got audio, they have video, parents and students and teachers. And just stakeholders are watching every move you make with Facebook and social media. So the first thing you have to be and instill in all your coaches, athletic directors, that they have to be professional at all times. They cannot allow parents, they cannot allow, just fans to get to them because somebody's watching you. They're recording, they are trying to see what you're going to do, how you're going to react in different situations. So be professional no matter what the situation is, whether you're dealing with the referees, in the game, whether you're dealing with the players in the game, parents at meetings, at the game or after the game. I know most coaches don't want to talk to the parents after the game. And of course, they're going to approach you. So be professional in how you tell them, hey, let's wait till tomorrow. Just be professional and conduct yourself as a professional at all times, no matter what the situation may be, no matter what the outcome may be. So just know that at all times, somebody's watching you and they're looking up to you. It could be a negative, or it could be a positive thing. So just remember that. That's the first letter of the PRC model, is being professional. I take that very seriously in everything I do every day. Of course, there's times I have fun. I joke and say I was a class clown when I was in high school, but it's always a good time to, to have fun. But when you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with, coaches and, athletes, just be professional to them at all times. The next letter of the PRC model is building relationships. I think it's very important that you build some positive relationships in your building as an athletic administrator, as a coach, and build some positive relationship with the parents and the stakeholders in your community. That is very important because there's going to be a time that you're going to need something and you don't want to burn any bridges. You want to make sure that you have a good relationship with your students, your athletes, your trainers, your parents, the officials. The list goes on and on, the people that we come in contact with as coaches and athletic administrators every day, from stakeholders to vendors, sponsorships, community members. You have to build those positive relationships, with them, even the people you don't want to be around. That's part of the job. And you got to understand that it's not an opportunity for you to show a negative relationship with someone. You have to always be positive. As a principal, of course, I deal with parents all day and coaches, stakeholders. So I wouldn't say that on my point of view that I have any negative relationships. Now, they may see it as a negative relationship from their point of view, but from your point of view, try to be professional with them. That way, you'll be in good standing no matter what you come to ask for, what you may need at any time, throughout the time that you're dealing with student athletes. So make sure you're very professional, building relationships with them, and definitely with your students. You want them to be able to come up to you and your student athletes and tell you things that you need to know and you need to be aware of. So remember that the relationship piece is very, very important in anything you do in life. It doesn't matter, what your profession is in. You want to make sure that relationship is one where you can either meet halfway or you can go over and bring that person to you and they will be, open and inviting. I said it all the time. I want my atmosphere at my school, I want to build an inviting culture. So folks will be able to willingly ask me anything, no matter what the situation may be. And that's part of the relationship piece that you have to build with them. So they understand that you value them no matter what the situation may be. So coaches, administrators, professional, build those relationships. And the last piece is the C, letter C, and that means you got to be competent. You got to know what you're doing. Like this past week, I went to the Athletic Directors Conference, National Conference in Orlando. I'm trying to get more information for myself to bring back to my coaches. So I want to make sure that I'm competent and I'm learning, because the world is ever changing, especially in the world of athletics. So you need to know all the best practices, all the different strategies, that everybody else is using and trying, and get some statistics on it. See what's working, what's not working. It's always one way. It's always more than one way to see things. As coaches don't have tunnel vision. The best coaches get information from other coaches. If you haven't figured it out by now. So, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing, especially when you're dealing with student athletes. You don't want to just ramble off and talk about something you don't really know about. So be very, competent, know your content, get professional development. If you're an athletic director, you're not sending your assistant coaches and head coaches to different professional development, then you're not doing what's best for the overall program. You got to make sure that they have aspiration and goals to either be an assistant head coach, or a head coach, or an assistant athletic director, or AD, or a district AD. So there's various levels, to the competent, piece, to make sure that they get the information that they need. And if you have coaches who don't want to get that information, then you know what that really means to you and your program. So make sure that they know whatever their profession is, whatever sport they're coaching, that they get the best practices, the best training year in and year out. One thing we pride ourselves here in Alabama is that we do a summer conference, and I send every coach at my school, not just the head coach, but every coach will attend the summer conference. And it's a 5-day conference. You pick out 2 to 3 days you want to go to, and you go get all the information, and you bring it back and share it, and see how it goes for that, for that following school year. So all your athletic administrators out there, remember the PRC model, but you can get your own, get your own acronym, come up with something that means something to you and that is very valuable to you. And being professional, building a great relationship within your community, and being competent, knowing what you're doing, and be confident in what you're doing, what you're saying to student athletes and the coaches. I want to thank you at this time for giving me the opportunity to share y'all some golden nuggets. Hopefully this little leadership lesson will, help you out when you're dealing with coaches and your players, and actually anything you do in life. Come up with some idea and that's meaningful and has value to yourself.
No, again, you shared the PRC model with me before, and I just think it's such a great tool. It's simple, but it's just so profound. And, you mentioned, to our listeners, you can change it if you want to. Athletic directors, are great thieves of other great ideas. So listeners, you don't need to change it. You can if you want to, make it fit your system, but the PRC model will definitely work for you. Albert, thanks as always for sharing with us. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out and connect with you, maybe dig a little bit deeper, what's the
Yeah.
best way they can get a hold of you?
Hey, I'm one that's very open. I have a direct line of communication. You can call me on my direct cell phone number, 334-750-2071. That's 334-750-2071. I tell people all the time, I'm the most reachable person you ever will meet. So you can always reach me on my cell, or I'm on social media, AWJR21 on Twitter or X. That's AWJR21 is my @ for my Twitter account or X account. So you can call me, or you can tweet me, or text me, either or.
I don't know if I have your Twitter. What was that? AW2R?
AWJR21.
JR.
Mm-hmm.
AWJR. I got it.
Yeah, that's my personal Twitter account. I do have a school account, but that's my personal Twitter account.
Right. I have the school one. Thanks so much. And for that cell phone, I can tell you listeners, I just, sent Howard a text, and 10 seconds later, he was calling me right back. So that is true. Thanks again for sharing. To our listeners, thanks for listening. And just a reminder, we upload these recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. As I said, we appreciate you listening. Come back next Tuesday for another great Super Tuesday tip, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, again, just a great nugget from Albert Weeden, the PRC model. Before we go, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Huddle, go to huddle.com. join the 8 million users that use Huddle in some form or fashion. Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. That's hometownticketing.com. We want to thank Snap Mobile, the parent company. Snap Raise is the fundraising platform, the best online fundraiser out there. You just can't beat it. SnapRaise.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. They've got a mission to help you bring your school's legacy to life. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. I want to thank Gipper. Gipper's the official social media graphic solution for the podcast. You can find out how Gipper can help you by going to Gipper.com. I want to say thank you to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you never used a survey, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them show you all the things they can do to help your school. Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and scoreboards. You've heard me say one of the best purchases I ever made was a Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. And finally, Home Campus, the official and exclusive state association management platform for us. I used Home Campus every day as an athletic director. You're going to love it too. Go to homecampus.com. Thanks again for listening to Super Tuesday. We will see you next time, and please come back for more great segments on the Educational 80 podcast.